you be in tears back thinking, how much longer? Honestly, I mean, to talk about
his Elvis moment, wasn't it? That's what I thought. The nearest he's come to being Elvis was at Wembley Stadium.
Yeah, hilarious.
But you looked cool. You looked very cool.
The Graham Norton Radio Show
on Virgin Radio.
Let's mention the album. The album is out on the 7th of July. It's available to pre-order now at whamofficial.com. So this is the singles, but they were all hits, right? In the end.
Yeah, it's a singles collection. Yes, and we decided to celebrate our 40th with the singles because we were essentially a singles band, and Yog and I grew up as we all would have in an era of singles, and it defined our sort of idea of music and hits.
Yeah, and we're talking about the documentary as well, and in there because I loved Wham Rap. I remember being at the university and listening to Wham Rap, and so when in the documentary they say it wasn't a hit, I thought, wow, how the hell did I hear it? And then it talks about how that wasn't a hit. Then you had Young Guns, and that wasn't particularly a hit, and then Top of the Pops happened. So Shirlie, talk to us about kind of getting the call that you were going to go on Top of the Pops. Did you do the choreography?
Well, no, because we were always in George's bedroom, so we would make up dancing routines. But we made up dance routines because we used to go clubbing. So they were never intended to be in, on TV. So it's just this bonus that we were all prepared. So preparation and opportunity, you see.
Oh, so you had the dance routine down?
Yeah, I mean,
we only had one partner, but George and I, and that was Shirley. So we had to share Shirley.
How very modern.
Yeah, it doesn't make me sound too good, does it?
Happy married now.
Yeah.
And so when I was watching it, because there's so much, the archive they found is amazing. I think there's a lot of that down to your mom. She seems to have been the keeper of the everything.
Yeah, not so much the video stuff.
Yeah.
But certainly the other bits and pieces.
All the scrapbooks.
Yeah, Mum kept scrapbooks. She kept 50 in all. She created in the end. So they're a marvellous sort of treasure trove of just odds and sods and clippings from the press of the time, in interviews and reviews, things like that. They're fascinating.
Yeah. And so what, for me watching it, I'm brought back to kind of my youth and all of that. What's it like for you? Because it was your lives. Was it strange to sit down and have you sat down and watched the finished thing?
Funny enough, I took my son Roman, who's 30, so he wasn't around obviously when Wham. And I thought, I really want you to see who George and Andrew were. They were my best friends, and how Wham happened in those days, and he came away and he had this whole new version, vision of what Wham was. And he just said, I'm really proud of you, Mum. You've had an incredible life. And just to see his mum have that experience to go from zero to be playing Wembley Stadium by the end of it. So for me, it does feel like a different life. And to watch the documentary, it gave me that feeling of, well, I've actually achieved something in life.
Yeah. And when you're young, when you're that age, 4 years is such a long time.
Yeah.
But, now we are all of an age. 4 years is the blink of an eye. Looking back, do you regret that it was just 4 years, that you didn't do it for 6 or 10?
No, I don't regret anything about it, to be honest. I mean, there's lots of things that one would have perhaps done differently, or we could have had a really good record deal as opposed to a really bad record deal, things like that. But no, there are very few regrets, and it did pass quickly even then. To be honest, we were working. There are some things I think I'd like to have done perform more. We never did a show in mainland Europe. Not one. Well,
really?
Ireland, Dublin. It's not mainland Europe, is it?
No,
We just did it for the States and China and long distance.
Yeah, but it was nice to have done Rome and Paris and.
But in those days, what was so much hard about the music business was you had to be everywhere. Because there was no kind of social media or, I think we had, was MTV even around then? I can't remember.
Not
video.
Not really. It was sort of came out.
So, my memory mainly is airports, sat on aeroplanes, being stuck on tarmac That's the worst part about it.
Yeah.
The travel. The travel was hard going.
Yog hated the travel.
Yeah.
I really didn't mind it. He didn't like the travel aspect of touring. I don't think.
I understand that.
Yeah. Well,
You're taken away from your home comforts, and me and George were very kind of homely people. We like to have a cup of tea and biscuits and being at home. So I totally understand. Yeah, going on tour is hard work.
And then your other half, if you know what I mean, in the group changed.
Yeah, so first of all, it was a girl called Amanda who did the very first PA.
Oh, I don't think she's even in the documentary. Poor her.
Poor Amanda. Well, I'm giving her a shout out
well
now.
done, you.
Yeah. So Amanda.
Mandy Washbourne.
Mandy Washbourne, yeah.
Very good. Minding a steel trap over there.
And then DC Lee, who then went on to join Style Council, Paul Weller, because Paul Weller, she went on to marry Paul Weller. And so I stayed, and then the boys said there's a new girl called Pepsi, and we all liked the name, didn't we, really?
And where did Pepsi come from? Where did you find Pepsi?
Pepsi was recommended
Simon
to
Napier
us.
Bell knew of her. So I met Pepsi at Finsbury Park's tube station.
Did Dee? I think
It wasn't. No, I think it's Simon Napier Bell who was managing Wham at the time.
Okay.
So I met Pepsi, and the boys said, if you like her and get on with her. Then I drove her in my little Mini back to George's house in Ridgeley, where we rehearsed again in the bedroom, I'm sure, see if she could dance. That's how professional it was.
Oh, yeah, I mean, the defining feature of the early years were just how amateur the whole thing was.
Yeah,
I mean,
it was at George's house, wasn't it? If it wasn't in the living room, and his mum, bless her, would be smiling and giving us the thumbs up to say that's a good dance routine. They'll like that.
I remember on one occasion we had to routine. George was babysitting for people across the road in Radley, and we actually went and we rehearsed the routine in the babysitter.
Whilst he's babysitting.
Very quietly.
Yeah.
No stomping.
Yeah.
No stomping. I would have thought, as a fan of Wham, I would have thought George was the one who went, right, legs out, shorts, this is what we're doing. But that was all you.
Well, I think it was really just a concept, as so much of our look was. It was just what we had to wear. I mean, hilariously, we had to share clothes initially. I mean, George and I are in each other's clothes in half the shoots because we had about one outfit each. Well, it's two, I think. But,
George had an M&S jumper that he used to wear every time he sang Careless Whisper. And I remember it going missing once, and the panic behind stage, thinking, just get to M&S. But no, it was a bluey, greeny, grey jumper. Do you remember? He used to wear
live?
it too. Yeah. He'd come on his own, sit on the chair. We'd all get very serious, and then he would put the jumper on, and that was Careless Whisper.
Different times. Would Andrew attempt to style the two of
No
you?
way. No.
Oh, right.
No.
it would have been a lot racier had I.
I love those kind of sliding doors moments because, that Young Guns was just outside the top 40. How did the call happen? Did somebody at Top of the Pops know you guys? Because I know someone had dropped out, but how, of all the people to choose, why you guys?
Why not?
Well, you know what I mean.
Because we was the best one.
Of course.
We were the highest riser. So we were
okay.
the next sort of act that had made the biggest jump outside the
But didn't
40.
Saturday Morning Superstore happen before Top of
Yeah.
the Pops?
So
And that was a success.
yeah. So
okay.
that's what kicked us up to just on the cusp of the top 40. But it was looking for all the world like it wasn't going to make it into the top 40. I mean, I remember Dick Lee, Brian Morrison, our publishers at the time, God rest their souls, both of them lovely men, and the record company, and we were all really concerned because sales had faltered and it just didn't look like it was going to get in the top 40. Had we got in the top 40, it would be almost a dead cert for Top of the Pops because we'd been the highest right for new entry.
Yeah.
Someone dropped out, fortunately, and we got the opportunity. And that really was, I mean, aside from getting a record contract in the first instance, Saturday Superstore was really integral, but Top of the Pops was what really did it.
I remember going out shopping with my mum in Watford High Street after we did Saturday Morning Super. Well, we filmed it on the Thursday or something. First time I'd ever been recognised. Oh my God, it was horrendous. So I had this short, bright white, spiky hair.
Yeah.
And people were just running, oh, that's that girl from Wham! And my life literally changed after that.
And Because for the boys, obviously, you were writing the songs, you were ambitious, you were going for the meetings and getting the record deals and everything. Was it just a laugh for you guys? Or
it was kind of accidental, really, because the boys had signed your record deal, they'd recorded the songs, and it wasn't until they got asked, well, we need to perform them at a club, do a PA in a nightclub, which happened to be Bolts, and they said, you know the dance routines that we do when we go clubbing? Should we do it? Do you want to come and do it? And we have to mime, get up on stage. And I said, mime? People are going to hate us. They're going to boo us off. And we went up on stage. It was in the middle of a club. So imagine just turning the music off. Now, Wham! And I was thinking, they're going to hate us. They're going to hate us. And it was silent. And then by the end of it, everyone was just cheering, clapping. I'd never been on stage before. I'd never done anything. Yeah. So I was kind of thrown in the deep end, and then it was an amateur routine. But George and I, Shirlie and DC Lee looked great, and it was attractive, and it was a good little routine, and also people hadn't seen anything like it really prior. I suppose you could. But
also, it was a really good pop song. We're running out of time, but I just want to get to the end of the story, the Wembley, the day at Wembley, which is so. I wasn't even there, but I'm watching a documentary.
Why?
I was busy. I don't know. I think I had a shift in a restaurant. I'm watching it, so emotional. How emotional was it for you guys, or was it only afterwards that kind of the impact of it hit you?
For me, it was never emotional because we've got to remember we're really close friends. So that we've all done this. We're also grateful for what we've done. I knew George was going to go on to this solo career. I knew Andrew had loads to do. And Pepsi and I had signed a record deal. Yeah. I'm excited to think, right, Peps, we're going to do our thing now. But our friendship was so strong. We weren't really losing anything.
For you, what struck me was that, so you guys were going off with your record deal. George was doing today. What was it like the next day? What was it like the day after for you, Andrew, when you woke up after
recovering from a hangover?
Well, we had... Just going back to the show, I remember the George introed the show and with Everything She Wants, and he'd go and perform this routine with the two dancers, and it was endless. And I remember
going up and down,
Shirlie
he's going up
we would be in tears back thinking, how much longer? Honestly, I mean, to talk about
his Elvis moment, wasn't it? That's what I thought. The nearest he's come to being Elvis was at Wembley Stadium.
Yeah, hilarious.
But you looked cool. You looked very cool.
No,
you came in a long black coat. Pepsi and I take the coat off.
It was all very cold, but it was
very tongue in cheek.
Yeah, very tongue in cheek.
Yeah.
We were playing to the gallery. That was part of it. We knew what the general sort of ideas of. The fact that I was, a ladies' man supposedly, and had Shirlie and Pepsi disrobing me on. It was tongue in cheek. It was all.
If people want to relive it, it is so brilliantly portrayed in the documentary. The documentary is it's Wham. It's called Wham. It's going to be in select cinemas on the 28th of June, and then will be on Netflix on the 5th of July. You can do that. The singles, Echoes from the Edge of Heaven, that's out on the 7th of July. You could pre-order it now at Wham. What's that little thing? Wham official hyphen. Let's go with hyphen. Wham official.com. There you go.
Line.
I've done the business.
Short line.